welcome to Jo&Co, your home for insights and inspiration to help you change your corner of the world. If there is one thing that I know is the Achilles heel to most professional women, the thing that stops them from answering the calling in their heart to give more, to be more, it's a little something called overwhelm. And it hits all of us from time to time. It doesn't matter how great you get at time management, how great you get at delegating, how great you get at managing everything and all the competing priorities in your life. Every now and then, every single one of us hits overwhelm. And all of our effectiveness flies out the window. So in this episode today, I wanted to share with you my 10-step process that I call Overwhelm First Aid. It's really simple, and it doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum of aspiring leadership, emerging leadership, or a really effective and self-expressed leader. We all have the moment when it's just, leave me alone, I can't cope anymore, there's too much to do. Oh, hey, it happens to the best of us. So let's go through the 10 simple steps so that you can make a difference no matter what's going on for you in your life right now. Grab a pen and write these down. Number one, Overwhelm First Aid is stop. You cannot solve overwhelm by working through, by keeping going. You just can't, because overwhelm is an emotional state that we get when we're dealing with too many things. We can't wrap our head around it, and we're usually depleted of energy at the same time. You can't push through overwhelm. You've lost your executive functioning. You've had to make too many decisions. So the first thing you have to do is stop. Stop whatever you're doing, walk away, and make yourself a cup of tea. I think tea is actually probably, if there were an antidote to overwhelm, it could well be tea. Go make yourself a nice cup of tea and sit down, and that brings us to step 2. That is to recognize it's totally okay to feel overwhelmed from time to time. It does not mean you're a failure. It does not mean you're not an amazing business leader. It doesn't mean that you're a rubbish coach or whatever, a bad sister, whatever it is you're making it mean. Stop that. Recognize that every single one of us gets overwhelmed from time to time. And it's that place where too many competing priorities meets a diminished energy, right? Diminished energy. And then that straw breaks the camel's back and we go into that awful feeling of overwhelm. So please, second step is to recognize it's okay. What I really encourage you to do is go into one of our soft power archetypes. There are 5 of them, but I want you to just go into one of them, and it's the mother archetype. Find a little part of you inside that is your own best mother. And I want you to send a bit of warm, nourishing, loving energy to the part of you that's broken at the moment. Because frankly, when we get overwhelmed, we snap, we go ping, right? It was too much. So as you drink your tea, on step 2, recognize it's okay. I want you to send some loving, healing energy to that poor little part of you that's just been pushed a step too far. Just as you would a toddler who missed his nap in the day and gets to 5 o'clock and he's too hungry and too tired and can't do anything about either of them and just breaks down. You don't tell that toddler to push through, right? Push through till bedtime. You cuddle them up and give them a cuddle and just love them. Tell them it's totally okay and explain why it's happened. So find your inner mother archetype and do that for yourself. That brings us then to step 3. Once you've got yourself in a bit of a settled emotional state, step 3 involves a pen and paper. And what I do is have you just dump it out. Dump out everything that is contributing to your state of overwhelm right now. Now, it might be little tasks, big tasks, decisions you have to make that you haven't made. It might be stuff that are frustrating you. It might be stuff that you need. It might be a big contract that just got lost that you really needed the cash flow for. I don't know what it is, but dump out every single thing, big and small, that is in your mind right now and contributing to the overwhelm. That's step 3. Then we get into step 4, and step 4, you need to become your own best friend. Imagine, with more tea, you're sitting down with your best friend and this is their list, right? This is their list, because sometimes if you think about it from someone else's point of view, it really helps. And as you look at their list, you're going to help them go, you know what actually doesn't need to be done right now at all? And you get a big old red pen and we do best friend deleting. If I were your best friend, I would say don't even bother with that. You don't need to do it. You don't need, like cooking dinner tonight. Who cares? Cross it off the list. We'll get takeaway. If it says, your newsletter's due out tomorrow and you haven't had time to do it, you know what? No one's going to miss one newsletter. Cross it off. We're not going to do one this week, right? What else could you just get really voracious and as your own best friend, cross it off the list? Because actually, if it doesn't happen right now, it's not the end of the world. Be your best friend, delete it. That brings us to best friend delegating now, which is step number 5. As your own best friend, you're now going to go back through your minimalized list and we're going to ask yourself, what could you possibly delegate? It might not be forever, but for just now while you're in this highly overwhelmed state. What could you delegate? Could you ask your husband to pick the kids up from daycare on Saturday so that you could take half an hour to finish the report? Could you ask your sister to cook meals for your family and drop them around for the next week because you've got a really busy time at that you're working on? Could you go and ask your neighbor to put your bins out on Tuesday night so that you don't have to do it because you're not going to be there and your bins are overflowing? I don't know. What is it? Is there someone in the office who you can hand some things to just for now or maybe forever? Go through the list as your own best friend and delegate anything you possibly can. Can I recommend that if you're a member of the B1 global community, that you jump on into that forum and at the very least ask for help on something that's on that list? Because your big problem might be you can't find a video editor. Ask a question and bam, you have a video editor in 5 minutes. Your big thing, there was a great one in the B1 forum the other day. Jo was looking for someone to hold up her post box while she affixed some support to it, hammered something in. She didn't have anyone in her area. And within moments, Elizabeth said, yep, I can come around and help you do that, right? Huge big problem that could have taken the rest of the afternoon to sort, solved in 2 minutes flat. So reach out to someone and delegate the tasks. That brings us then to step number 6. And step number 6 is to refocus on your big picture. Really take a moment to get into what I call your queen archetype. That part of you that is graceful under pressure, who is connected to source and just knows what's right and able to decide. She sees the vision for her realm and she knows what it is that we're all trying to achieve here. When you step into your queen archetype, ask yourself, what is my big intention at the moment? What are my highest priorities right now? Sometimes, I remember I have a particular story which illustrates this beautifully. I remember at one point I hit overwhelm because I was frantically trying to cook boeuf bourguignon, bourguignon, I don't know, beef, French, for my sister because, ironically enough, she was overwhelmed and I wanted to help her out. So I'm frantically cooking this thing and I had things that I wasn't doing for work that I was supposed to be doing because I wanted to take around this care package of beef because she needed some love. And it was taking me 3 hours because it takes a really long time to cook this particular recipe and I wasn't getting the things done. And then I hit overwhelmed when I stepped back and actually looked, what's the big picture here? It wasn't about the bloody beef. It was about spending time with my sis and helping her. The best thing I could have done is got in the car, gone via the Happy Inn Chinese takeaway, North Carlton, and landed on her doorstep with takeaway and just been there for her. It's not about the beef. So sometimes refocusing on the big picture helps you to realize whatever your version is, it's not about the beef. Brings us to step number 7, which is to prioritize. Now, this is a lesson in and of itself. Like, it's something that I learned as an emergency room doctor, the importance of what we call triage. You've got to be able to determine a heart attack from a stubbed toe in the emergency room. And in just the same way, you need to be able to determine what are the grade A priorities from the grade C priorities. So I think grade A is A, absolutely has to happen today. B, it'd be, excuse me for being Australian for a moment, it'd be bloody nice if it happened today. And C is, well, we'll see if we can get to it today. So you then go through everything that's left on your list. As you think about the big picture, the vision that you're actually holding, pull all of it together and then ask yourself, what of this is A, what of this is B, and what of this is C? Once you've gone through and done that, pause and go and make another cup of tea. That's step 8, make more tea. You need to have a little moment now to replenish your energy. Because remember, you were really overwhelmed at the beginning. We had to drink tea to get out of the emotional state. You've just asked yourself to get into Queen and make decisions, which in a diminished state is hard to do, but you've done it. So now we need to take another moment right now to make tea and replenish. That might mean, and that might be tea, it might be a movie, it might be a bath and an early night. But step 8 is to pause once more and replenish your energy. That brings us then to step number 9, which is a little step called eat the elephant. What do we mean by eat the elephant? Well, it's that whole joke that you know, one man asks another, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is one bite at a time, right? You just start with your A's, you number them from 1 through to 9 or however many there are, and you start at the beginning, and one at a time you knock them over. And continue as you do that to interrelate it with step 10, which is rest and reward. Only work as quickly as you can with the amount of energy you have. Be gentle on yourself. And every time you knock one over, have a little celebrate. Hey, go make another cup of tea. Have a piece of chocolate. Go out for a wine with a girlfriend. I don't know what it is, but reward yourself after every significant step, because getting out of overwhelm single-handedly like this, like you are, is a huge step in and of itself. So that's step 1 through 10 of Overwhelm First Aid. I'll just recap them real quick for you. Number 1, stop. Number 2, recognize it's okay and send a bit of motherly love to yourself. Make tea. Step 3, dump it all out. Step 4, best friend deleting. Step 5, best friend delegating. Step 6, refocus on that big picture. Step 7, prioritize. Step 8, make tea, replenish. Step 9, eat that elephant. And step 10, rest and reward. I hope that makes a difference for you the next time you hit overwhelm, and you can follow that, help get yourself out of it. But remember, the important thing to do is also reach out. Remember what I said, a rising tide floats all boats, ladies, and the tide is rising. So let's support one another to be our best selves and step up to make the difference that we were put on this planet to make. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode really soon.